Shocking news from the Vatican, a deep dive into recent events. In the midst of 2025, the Vatican finds itself in a period of profound transition. The current Pope, Pope Francis, continues to lead the Catholic Church despite his declining health. His public appearances have become more infrequent, and his age has made him increasingly frail. The Church faces challenges not only from within, but also on the global stage, where diplomatic tensions over religious matters seem to grow daily. Yet, even as the Pope struggles with his health, the Vatican remains a central hub for global conversations about faith, power, and leadership. However, in the shadows of this fragile situation, a startling development has shaken the foundation of the Catholic world. One of the most revered and influential figures in the Church, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, has suddenly been dismissed from a major responsibility within the Vatican. Known for his charm, wisdom, and his once promising future as a contender for the papacy, Cardinal Tagle's removal has left many wondering, what does this mean for the future of the Catholic Church? This unprecedented move has sent shockwaves throughout the Vatican and the wider Catholic community. Cardinal Tagle's fall from grace is a stark reminder of how quickly power can shift within the Church, and it has raised questions about the internal politics at play. For years, he was considered a likely successor to Pope Francis, with his presence and leadership within the Vatican organization growing stronger. Yet now, he finds himself removed from a key position, his career, once seemingly unstoppable, now in question. Rumors abound as to the reasons behind his dismissal. Was it a result of internal political struggles within the Vatican, a calculated decision as part of a broader reform effort? Or could there be deeper, darker forces at work, aiming to reshape the Catholic Church's leadership for a new era? The speculation is endless, and the stakes have never been higher for those who have closely followed Cardinal Tagle's rise. As we look deeper into the situation, the question remains, is this the end of Cardinal Tagle's career, or could this dramatic turn of events actually signal a new phase for him, a phase that might propel him even higher in the Church's hierarchy? The possibilities are vast, and the uncertainty is palpable. Join us in this video as we uncover the truth behind this shocking event. What is truly happening behind the closed doors of the Vatican? Is Cardinal Tagle still in line to be the next pope, or is this the beginning of the end for his aspirations? Stay tuned until the end of the video to make sure you don't miss any critical details. Pope Francis exposes Cardinal Luis, a church scandal unfolds. Cardinal Tagle and the shocking dismissal. What happened? In 2023, a stunning move sent shockwaves through the Vatican and the Catholic world. Pope Francis removed Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, along with the entire leadership team of Caritas Internationalis. Caritas, the global charitable organization of the Catholic Church, had long been a pillar of hope for marginalized communities worldwide, and Cardinal Tagle had been at its helm for many years. His departure raised immediate questions about the reasons behind such a dramatic decision. The Vatican initiated an internal evaluation to assess Caritas's operations and management, and the results were far from favorable. An independent expert report revealed that, while there was no evidence of financial misconduct or sexual scandals, areas where the Church has faced significant scandals in recent decades, there were severe organizational problems. Caritas was found to be plagued with ineffective leadership, disorganized operations, and a toxic workplace environment that had led to a lack of cohesion among its staff. Pope Francis made it clear that this decision was not intended as a personal punishment for Cardinal Tagle or the other leaders, but rather a necessary step toward reforming the organization. The Pope emphasized the need for Caritas to regain its focus on its core mission, to serve the poor and marginalized. The goal was to create a more effective, transparent, and unified organization, capable of meeting the growing challenges of global poverty and inequality. But this raises an important question. Is this move a sign that Cardinal Tagle's influence is waning within the Vatican? Or could it be a carefully planned strategy to reshape the Church's leadership for the future? Was this a setback in his career, or the first step toward a greater role in reshaping the future of the Catholic Church? The implications of this decision extend far beyond the walls of Caritas, affecting not just Tagle's future, but the broader direction of the Church itself. 2. The truth behind the dismissal. Was Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle truly kicked out of the Catholic Church? The answer is a resounding no. While his removal from the leadership of Caritas Internationalis shocked the world, it is far from the end of his career. Cardinal Tagle is still very much a key figure in the Vatican and continues to hold significant influence. After his departure from Caritas, Pope Francis entrusted him with an even more pivotal role, overseeing the transition of leadership within Caritas and ensuring that the restructuring process was smooth and effective. This speaks volumes about the trust the Pope still has in Tagle's abilities. Cardinal Tagle is also far from being sidelined in the Vatican's power structure. He remains an influential figure within the Roman Curia, the administrative body that oversees the Church's operations. His work in the Dicastery for Evangelization, one of the most powerful and important offices in the Vatican, underscores his continuing prominence within the Church. So, why would Pope Francis make such a bold decision to remove Cardinal Tagle from Caritas? Some analysts view this move not as a failure, but as a strategic maneuver. Caritas is vital for the Church's charitable mission, but it is not the heart of Vatican power. By stepping down from this leadership role, Cardinal Tagle may be freed up to focus on broader and more significant responsibilities within the Roman Curia. This could be a calculated move to prepare him for even greater leadership roles in the future. Rather than being a sign of weakness or a career setback, the removal from Caritas could be a crucial step in strengthening Cardinal Tagle's position within the Vatican's intricate power dynamics. Now, the big question remains: could Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle be positioned as a future pope? Is this restructuring part of a larger plan to groom him for the papacy? Only time will tell. Stay tuned as we continue to dive deeper into this compelling and complex story. The journey of Cardinal Tagle. One childhood and path to theology. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle was born in a vibrant and bustling district in Manila, Philippines. Raised in a devout Catholic family, he displayed intelligence, kindness, and a strong spirit of service from a young age. In the Philippines, there is a well-known folktale about a poor boy who always helped those in need. Even though he had very little, he shared whatever he had, be it food, shelter, or kindness. As he grew older, he became a revered saint. This story bears a striking resemblance to Cardinal Tagle's life. As a child, he was always eager to help those around him, whether it was supporting classmates from underprivileged backgrounds, assisting the elderly, or volunteering at his local church. Faith and compassion became an inseparable part of his identity. However, he never intended to become a priest. Initially, he dreamed of becoming a doctor, believing that medicine was the most direct way to heal and help people. But fate had other plans. One day, Tagle attended a theology seminar, and he was deeply moved by the teachings on human purpose, faith, and salvation. One particular phrase changed his life forever. You can heal the body with medicine, but only faith can heal the soul. This message stirred something profound within him. After days of contemplation, he made a life-changing decision to dedicate himself to theology and become a priest, not just to heal bodies, but to heal souls. 2. Career and rise to prominence. After making this pivotal choice, Tagle pursued studies at Ateneo de Manila University, one of the most prestigious institutions in the Philippines, where he was rigorously trained by the Jesuits. The Jesuit tradition emphasized critical thinking, perseverance, and community service. This experience shaped his intellectual and spiritual growth, preparing him for the responsibilities ahead. He earned both a bachelor's and a master's degree in theology, and spent significant time engaging in social work, preaching, and supporting underprivileged communities. After his ordination as a priest in 1982, he quickly gained recognition as an exceptional preacher. His sermons were emotional, relatable, and deeply impactful, making him stand out among his peers. In 2001, Pope John Paul II appointed him as the Bishop of Imus. During his tenure, he built schools, helped the poor, trained young priests, and revitalized church activities. But the most defining moment of his career came in 2011, when Pope Benedict XVI appointed him as the Archbishop of Manila, one of the most significant positions in Asian Catholicism. Just a year later, in 2012, he was officially elevated to Cardinal, becoming one of the most influential figures in the global Catholic Church. From a poor boy with dreams of becoming a doctor, Luis Antonio Tagle rose to become one of the Church's most powerful leaders. But will his journey lead him to the papacy? Stay tuned. Will these controversies prevent Cardinal Tagle from becoming the next pope? Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle is undoubtedly one of the most respected and beloved figures in the Catholic Church today. His progressive views on social justice, his powerful preaching, and his deep connection with the faithful have earned him widespread admiration. Many have speculated that he could one day ascend to the papacy, becoming the first ever Asian pope, a truly historic moment for the Church. Yet despite these strengths, the road to becoming the next pope is never a simple one. The Vatican is a complex institution with its own intricate web of politics, rivalries, and power struggles. Cardinal Tagle's rise to prominence has not been without its controversies. His sudden removal from the leadership of Caritas Internationalis, for example, has raised questions about his standing within the Vatican. While some see this as a temporary setback, others wonder if these controversies could affect his reputation or hinder his future prospects. Internally, the Vatican is a place of intense factionalism, with different groups vying for influence. Tagle's progressive ideology, though popular among many in the Church, might clash with more conservative factions who hold significant power in the Vatican. This ideological divide could be a major hurdle for his path to the papacy. On the global stage, there are political considerations as well. The Catholic Church is an international institution, and Tagle's potential as the first Asian pope could be seen as both a strength and a challenge. Some might view it as a step toward greater inclusivity and representation, while others may resist the idea, preferring a pope from Europe, the traditional heart of the Church. The question remains, can Cardinal Tagle overcome these internal and external obstacles to fulfill his destiny as the next pope? Only time will tell, but his journey promises to be one of the most fascinating stories in the modern history of the Catholic Church. Signs that he is a strong candidate. 1. Outstanding communication skills. Cardinal Tagle is not only a spiritual leader, but also an exceptional speaker. He is famous for his emotional, relatable, and heartfelt preaching, which deeply resonates with millions of believers worldwide. A real-life example. During a sermon in Rome, Cardinal Tagle moved an entire church to tears by sharing the story of a Filipino mother who had to leave her family to work abroad as a domestic helper, sending money home while slowly losing her emotional connection with them. He linked this story to lessons on sacrifice, love, and empathy, making his message deeply impactful. Why does this matter? A pope is not just the head of the Vatican, but also a global spiritual figure. A leader who can effectively communicate and inspire, like Cardinal Tagle, would have a significant advantage in connecting with the worldwide Catholic community. 2. A reformist. Like Pope Francis, Cardinal Tagle is seen as a continuation of Pope Francis's vision. He focuses on compassion, inclusivity, and social justice, rather than strictly adhering to rigid traditions. What are his core beliefs? Advocating for the poor and migrants, fighting against social injustice and discrimination, encouraging interfaith dialogue and acceptance. A powerful example, Cardinal Tagle once slept on the streets of Manila alongside homeless individuals to better understand their struggles. He doesn't just preach about compassion, he actively lives it, earning deep respect from people worldwide. Why does this matter? Pope Francis has brought a fresh, open-minded approach to the Vatican. If Tagle were to become Pope, he would likely continue this reformist path, making the Catholic Church more relevant and connected to modern society. 3. Asian heritage, a historic opportunity for the Catholic Church. The reality: Asia is the fastest-growing region for Catholicism, particularly in the Philippines, Vietnam, and South Korea. However, in over 2,000 years of church history, there has never been an Asian pope. If Cardinal Tagle were to be elected, it would be a groundbreaking moment, helping the Vatican expand its influence and balance power among different regions. Why does this matter? The Vatican is actively seeking to strengthen its presence in Asia, and having a Filipino pope would significantly boost the Church's standing in the region. Challenges that could prevent him from becoming pope. Despite his strengths, Cardinal Tagle's path is far from smooth. He faces significant obstacles from within the Vatican and global politics. 1. Lack of administrative experience in the Vatican. The issue: compared to other candidates, Cardinal Tagle has relatively little experience in managing high-level administrative matters within the Vatican. While he led Caritas Internationalis, this organization is not at the core of Vatican power. Why is this a problem? A pope is not just a spiritual leader, but also the head of a massive bureaucratic institution with thousands of clergy members and affiliated organizations. Some cardinals may doubt whether Tagle has the necessary experience to govern the entire church. 2. Opposition from conservative factions. The issue: conservative factions within the Vatican fear that if Cardinal Tagle becomes pope, he will continue Pope Francis's reformist policies, which they strongly oppose. Key concerns: he supports expanding the role of women in the church. He advocates for a more inclusive approach toward the LGBTQ+ community. He calls for reforms in outdated Vatican structures. Why is this a major barrier? In the papal conclave, conservative factions hold significant influence. If they oppose Tagle, he may struggle to secure the necessary votes to become pope. 3. Global political considerations. The issue: having a Filipino pope could impact the Vatican's relations with major powers like China. The reality: the relationship between China and the Vatican is already tense, especially over the issue of appointing bishops in China. If an Asian pope is elected, Beijing may perceive this as a threat to its control over Catholicism in the country. Why is this a barrier? The Vatican is not just a religious institution, but also a political entity. Choosing a pope isn't solely about faith, it also involves global diplomatic considerations. Conclusion: will Cardinal Tagle become the next pope? Cardinal Tagle is a strong candidate, but his path remains uncertain. Can he overcome these obstacles and become the next pope? Or will the Vatican remain under conservative leadership? Stay tuned as we continue to analyze this unfolding story. 1. Lack of administrative experience in the Vatican. The issue: compared to other candidates, Cardinal Tagle has relatively little experience in managing high-level administrative matters within the Vatican. While he led Caritas Internationalis, this organization is not at the core of Vatican power. Why is this a problem? A pope is not just a spiritual leader, but also the head of a massive bureaucratic institution with thousands of clergy members and affiliated organizations. Some cardinals may doubt whether Tagle has the necessary experience to govern the entire church. Second, opposition from conservative factions. The issue: conservative factions within the Vatican fear that if Cardinal Tagle becomes pope, he will continue Pope Francis's reformist policies, which they strongly oppose. Key concerns: he supports expanding the role of women in the church. He advocates for a more inclusive approach toward the LGBTQ+ community. He calls for reforms in outdated Vatican structures. Why is this a major barrier? In the papal conclave, conservative factions hold significant influence. If they oppose Tagle, he may struggle to secure the necessary votes to become pope. 3. Global political considerations. The issue: having a Filipino pope could impact the Vatican's relations with major powers like China. The reality: the relationship between China and the Vatican is already tense, especially over the issue of appointing bishops in China. If an Asian pope is elected, Beijing may perceive this as a threat to its control over Catholicism in the country. Why is this a barrier? The Vatican is not just a religious institution, but also a political entity. Choosing a pope isn't solely about faith. It also involves global diplomatic considerations. Conclusion: will Cardinal Tagle become the next pope? Cardinal Tagle is a strong candidate, but his path remains uncertain. Can he overcome these obstacles and become the next pope? Or will the Vatican remain under conservative leadership? Stay tuned as we continue to analyze this unfolding story. Lessons from Cardinal Tagle's story. The life of Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle is not just the journey of one man. It is a profound lesson in perseverance, humility, and compassion. From a poor boy growing up on the bustling streets of Manila to one of the most influential figures in the Catholic Church, he has proven that dedication and faith can help overcome any challenge. 1. Humility, the key to true leadership. One of Cardinal Tagle's most admirable qualities is his humility. No matter his position, he always remains down to earth and focused on serving others rather than seeking power. A real-life example. As a young bishop, Tagle often rode his bicycle to visit poor neighborhoods, meeting people in person rather than preaching from afar. He didn't just talk about faith, he lived it alongside the people he served. Lesson learned: a true leader is not someone who stands above others, but someone who steps down and walks beside them. In life, humility does not make us weak. It helps us understand our true value and the value of those around us. 2. Compassion, the power to change the world. For Cardinal Tagle, compassion is the foundation of every action he takes. He believes that changing the world doesn't require grand gestures, just small acts of kindness from the heart. A real-life example. One day, a homeless man stood outside a church asking for help. Instead of just giving him money, Tagle sat down and listened to his story for hours. He then helped him find a job, connected him with a support community, and continued checking in on him for years. Lesson learned: true compassion is not just about helping someone once. It's about genuinely caring for them and walking alongside them. In today's world, people don't always need money or material things. Sometimes, all they need is someone who truly listens. 3. Perseverance. Never abandon your mission. Despite facing challenges, Cardinal Tagle has never abandoned his mission. From being removed from Caritas Internationalis to navigating Vatican politics, he continues to serve the Church with unwavering dedication. A powerful quote from him: "If you feel lost, don't give up. Sometimes it's not the end, it's just the beginning of a new path." Lesson learned: life is full of obstacles, but we have a choice: give up or rise stronger than before. Every challenge is part of the journey, and only those who persevere will achieve their dreams. 4. Will Cardinal Tagle become the next pope? Is the Vatican ready to embrace a Filipino pope? Will political and conservative opposition prevent him from ascending? Or is this the moment for a new era of leadership, guided by compassion and reform? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting content.